Hi, you guys, and welcome to Nosy Bystanders Live. I am your host, Chief Nosy Bystander, and of course, more stuff about this case, which is so interesting. Because there's more updates now. Apparently, that I don't know what they're called, the cartel golf gang or whatever, they have put out and issued a statement. So we're gonna get to that. Also, I'm gonna go over that timeline one more again, and then I want to go over the phone conversation that News Nation had with Eric Williams' wife. Eric Williams is one of the surviving individuals who was a part of this incident. So I want to go over what she told News Nation because a lot of people are finding it a little bit shocking, which I guess is nothing really shocking about it, but we're going to go over it anyway because why the heck not? So we're going to get to that article. We're going to get to all these articles and voice recordings and basically everything else under the sun. So I'm giving you guys a little bit of time to slide on in, smash the like button. Don't be ignorant. Okay. Um, let's get to who's all up in the building. I know we got a lot of new faces here. Welcome, new faces. Welcome to Nosy Bystanders Live. You ain't never been here before. Welcome. We always love Negroes. And everybody else under the sun. Okay, we love everyone. Okay, so let's see who's all in the building. Okay, what's up, Shugs Life? Hello, Deandra. Hello, Callie. Hello, Kels. What's up, Cree? How you doing today? Hello, Just Bougie. Hello, Stephanie. What's up, Quanta? Say, hey, Nosy. Happy Friday Eve. It is Friday Eve. It's Thursday. I'm a little ashy. Fix that. Not my lotion being empty. This is ridiculous. Not me being ashy on while I'm live. Okay. Let's see who else is in here. Hello, Lexi Glow. Hello, Shannon. What's up, Brenda? How you doing today? Hello, Tell. Tell says this is so sad that this happened to four innocent people. Absolutely, Tell. I couldn't agree with you more. It is incredibly sad. Outspoken introvert. What's up? Hello, Amber. Hello, Sophie says I'm here for my usual seat. How you doing? How you doing? Hello, is it Cassander? I hope I'm saying your name right. This says yes, first live. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Leah. How you doing today? Hello, Topher. Hello, Amber. Hello, Nikki. What's up, Wendy the T? Anybody here from Facebook? I know Facebook. Now, Facebook, y'all always late. We try to give y'all some respect, but y'all love showing up late. Hello, Tiffany from Facebook. What's up, Jacqueline? Hello. Hello, Illuminegro. How you doing today? Hello, MMAC. Hello, Shaw. And Mac said the story is getting ridiculous. A cartel writing an apology letter now? We're going to get to that, Mac. We're going to get to that. Because, ooh, child. What's up, Statement 92? Hello, Erica. How you doing today? Hello, Susie. Hello, Salma Wit. How you doing today? What's up, Durrell's mom? Hello, Suli. Hello, Kimmy. Hello, Mama Bree. I know all the usuals like, don't skip us. Hello, Virtuous Eatery. Our Virtuous says smash that like button, y'all. Don't be ignorant, okay? Don't be our cousins on our daddy side. You know exactly what that means. Hello, Mrs. P. How you doing today? Hello, Brenna. Hello, Mo EC. Hello, Danielle Phillips, all the way from Facebook. What's up, Danielle? Hello, Marcy. Hello, TD. Hello, is it Tinese? Hello, Tinese. Hello, Vapey. What's up, Amber? How you doing today? Hello, Naturally. Tony says, I can't believe I'm on time while at work. Girl, shh, for your supervisor comes. In my head, I'm thinking your supervisor is coming up. Okay, so if I missed you, I apologize. Welcome. So let's get to these stories because we got a lot to get over. So I want to go over and play the recording from News Nation. I'm not going to show you the video, but I will play the voice audio of the interview that, just not even an interview, it was just like a snippet that Eric Williams, one of the victims' wives, he is alive, Eric Williams and Latavia McGee, they are both alive. His wife had to say to News Nation. So make sure your volume's turned up, and I'm going to play it for you here.
Camera. And so we spoke by phone, and I have to say the conversation raised more questions than anything else. Just a day after officials announced they rescued 2 of the 4 Americans who were kidnapped in Mexico, News Nation spoke with Michelle Williams, the wife of Eric Williams, who survived. When did you realize that there was some sort of issue?
When FBI came to my house.
When was that? That was on Sunday morning. And what did they say? They wanted to confirm who he was, and that was he with them. And I did not know at the time that he was with them particular friends. I didn't even have any idea that they were even there. Williams again told us she didn't know her husband had gone to Mexico. Where did he say where he was going initially? He just said he was going with his friend and his cousin. Did he say he was going to Mexico? No, he did not. That's one thing he did not say. Michelle did say she has been speaking to her husband periodically. What does he say about the whole incident? He's heartbroken that the other two won't be coming home. Those are like his brothers. She's like his sister. And still not sharing with his wife what went down this past Friday in Mexico. He didn't want to get into detail. They went there for her to have cosmetic surgery. And then all of a sudden they met. Somehow got caught in the crossfire with these cartels? Correct. But despite having a successful surgery on both of his legs, he asked his wife not to appear on camera and not to come visit him at the hospital. Do you have any idea when you're going to see your husband next, when he's due back here? No, because he doesn't want us to come there. Why? For fear of something related to the cartels? Or something will happen to us here. So he's worried that something would stretch back here to the East Coast. Yeah, I don't know. I just know he doesn't want us there. And I do know he made it out of surgery and he's doing okay. Meantime, here in Lake City.
Now that is unusual. So here's my thing. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like we said yesterday, it doesn't make any sense that the cartel is kidnapping people. If it was just a case of mistaken identity, they could have simply just did what they did. You know, they're violent. They could have simply just did what they did in the middle of the street, and then they usually just leave the person there. They're not usually hard pressed to like take the surviving victims and go hide them and stash them. That is not what they do. Okay, so that's already outside of their scope of what they do. Now then the FBI says, oh, this was just a case of mistaken identity. Okay, so why can't your wife come get you if it was a case of mistaken identity? You're already across the border. You're about as safe could be. It doesn't make sense. Their stretch doesn't, the cartel stretch doesn't reach that far. I just want you guys to know that, just like counterintelligence specifically, their stretch is not that far. Now, they do have sex here in the United States, but they're very small sex because it's hard to start a new, and we're going to be using safe words because of YouTube, but it's hard to start a new sect, right? It's hard to start a new sect. Let me type the word in so you understand what we're saying. It's hard to start a sect, right? When there's so many different sects all over the United States. So these kind of things are hard to like organize. I don't know where it is, but it's right here. These kind of things are hard to organize. So that's why they don't have a far reach here in the United States, but they do have a far reach all across Mexico. So the thing about it is that if their reach is really tiny in the US compared to what they can do, then why would you be concerned? Especially if it was a case of mistaken identity, you know? Unless they took their phones and dug through his pictures and saw his wife's face and like threatened them, like, hey, if you tell people what we did, we're going to come get your wife, you know, like that could be a threat. But it doesn't make any sense, because if I were in like Mexico and I got myself into a heap of trouble, or I got in the middle of a heap of trouble and I just crossed the border, I wouldn't care about nothing that they said or did or threatened. I'm like, I don't care. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, what precisely are you going to do? Like, you know what I mean? Ain't much you can do. Like, I'm here in the United States and I'm safe. So so what? I don't care. You can't threaten me. Can't, that doesn't make any sense. So it doesn't make any sense, right? It's almost asinine for them to feel threatened unless there is some sort of relationship, right? Unless a relationship was formed, whether it be through some wheeling and dealing. I don't want to accuse them of anything, but wheeling and dealing to something. It's every day it's starting to get more and more and more curious whether they know these people or not. That's what the overarching question is. Do they know them? Because people are starting to speculate that they may actually know these people, or at least they know the sect that they, you know, were affiliating themselves with. Let me get some of your questions and comments in the chat box. This from Amber says, I mean, really, what's going on? Look, every day when we dissect this story, all we can do is just analyze and speculate at this point. This is from Virtuous Eater. He says the survivors are not in Mexico anymore. Exactly. Said I'm confused. Yeah, me too. Ortiz says it does if they terrified you. Yeah, and I could see that. Right? I could see them taking their phones, going through their phones, telling them, show me your wife, show me your Facebook, and if you say anything, I'm gonna come for these people. So that's an understandable threat, right? So I'm not gonna say, oh, he hiding something because he's trying to protect his wife. I wouldn't think that, right? But it does, the actions of this specific sect, right? Sect Rooney's for gang sect. It's outside of the norm of what they typically do. They don't typically kidnap. That's what makes it bizarre, right? This one, Jacqueline Harris says, did the couple live in the same house? They did. They're all from, I'm sorry, coming on my face. They're all from South Carolina. This one, Virtuous Eater says, child, they drove South Carolina to Mexico. They did. Tynese says, the fifth friend is on CNN now. Okay. This from Andrea says, we can't watch that. Unfortunately, there are copyright infringements we cannot impede on specifically from YouTube. So we can't watch that. So we will watch it and we'll review it tomorrow, but we can't watch live action news from large organizations like CNN, MSNBC. We can't watch any of that stuff. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, I want to make sure we know that, like, this is not a free for all. We're not free basing over here. So there's certain things we can and can't do. Now, tomorrow, once clips come out, we can review the clips, but we can't just live stream a television, a news organization as big as CNN. Okay, that's just something we can't do. But yeah, this is from Alicia says he wouldn't have to worry about them visiting him, and I'd be happy to send him his stuff because this situation is crazy if he hasn't been truthful to his wife. I don't think he hasn't been truthful to his wife. I think his wife does know. I think he has talked to her. I think he told her, if you're going to conduct interviews, don't tell anybody what I told you. Does that make sense? I don't think his wife is in the dark or in the loop at all. She didn't even sound like she was in the loop. She didn't sound like she didn't sound like she didn't know. She sounded like she was withholding information. She didn't sound like she was absent of that information. Does that make sense? Like in that interview, she sounded like, oh, he told me not to say anything and he told me, not to come down there. He told her what the real is. Does that make sense? I know for a fact he told her what the real is. He told her, if you're going to keep sitting down doing these interviews, you need not to tell them exactly what's going on. That is true. That is very much true. Okay. It's as true could be. All right. But now I want to get to that article. I really want to. So let me pull up that article from People Magazine. So People Magazine reported today that the group, the sect here, writes an apology letter after 2 Americans had passed away. This is the only word we're going to use. And kidnappings. Associated Press obtained a copy of the letter from law enforcement. Sources in Mexico state that I don't know how to pronounce this, where the kidnapping took. It says the Mexican drug has reportedly sent an apology letter apologizing to for the last Friday's kidnapping. And then it says Associated Press obtained a copy of that letter from the law enforcement sources in the Mexican state where the kidnapping took place. The letter, which proponents, I don't know what that means, to be from the Gulf Cartel, claims those who carried out the attack have been turned into law enforcement. And then it says from the letter, and I quote, "We have decided to turn those who were directly involved and responsible for the events, who at all times acted under their own decision making and lack of discipline," states in the letter. So they're saying this was a rogue group. That's crazy. That's crazy. What do you mean? They acted in their own accord. Let me see. I'm going to pull up this letter. Hold on one second. I got to see what it looks like. Hold on. I'm gonna pull because I want to see what it looks like. I think they said there was photos of it. Yeah, they got it here. Thank you, Fox News. Okay, here, okay, so here's what the letter looks like. Can I zoom in? I think that's the closest I can get. It was obviously in Spanish. It says, note allegedly left by the Gulf Cartel for Mexican authorities apologizing for the actions of some of their members it claimed were responsible for the kidnapping and murder. An internal government document reviewed by Reuters indicated that Mexican law enforcement is pursuing an investigation and the possibility the kidnapping occurred because the cartel members believed the Americans had encroached on their turf. The document includes the details of Americans, including drug-related convictions against two of the members, which the Mexican cartel allegedly argued makes it possible the Americans could be directly linked to drug trafficking operations. It says the 4 Americans have been identified, which we know that, and then this is the person that was detained. I wonder if anybody translated this letter yet. That is wild. And here's why I think that this was written. I'm saying exactly why it was written, if it's real, which I do believe it's real. You said this has to be up and coming cartel writing apology letters. Here's why. Because yesterday on Fox News, because they love them some dog whistles, they were basically saying that the Biden administration should label the cartel as a terrorist organization. And remember, we talked about it yesterday. I said, oh, that's bad for business. That's really bad for business. If you have a designated terrorist group in your nation, the United States is going to conduct counterintelligence specifically because Mexico is our ally. So there's going to be counterintelligence operations happening there. And that's bad for business because the United States finds out that the Mexican governments in their different states, different regions of Mexico, right? The California, Baja Sur, the Yucatan Peninsula, wherever, doesn't matter. If they find out that any officials from any of those different California states are involved a little bit in organized crime, it could be really, 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 really bad for Mexico. It could be really bad for them. That includes coups, that includes positioning of power there, that includes a whole lot of stuff that Mexico don't want, okay? And we don't want it either because we don't want to put it on our tax dollars. Also, it affects trade, it affects commerce, it affects travel, it affects visas, it affects everything. So the Mexican government is scrambling to not have what is going on in their region labeled as terroristic activities because they don't want counterintelligence to be conducted in Mexico, at least at the extent the U.S. will do it at. The counterpart to that, right, means that somebody better come forward and start apologizing. Because it happens all the time. People who join gangs get rogue and they start doing their own stuff. It happens all the time. It's nothing new under the sun that people in gangs will branch off and start doing their own stuff. Because I told you guys yesterday, I'm telling you this now before I even read this article, The cartel does not deal in kidnappings. It's not their MO. They shoot you right on the ground and they keep walking, and they will literally drop their kids off at church. They don't care. So the fact that these people kidnapped them and then tried to shuffle them all over different houses and stuff didn't quite make a whole lot of sense. Because like, that's not even their MO. They're not in the business to feed kidnappee detainees. They're not in the business of dressing wounds of their detainees. They're not in the business of that. And these people were missing for 5 days, and literally the first person, the first organizational group, the first NGO to find out about kidnappings overseas is the Red Cross and UNICEF, as well as the Catholic Foundation Association and the Salvation Army, because they pay ransom. So the fact that these people went missing for 4 days and no ransom ever came up, that's why everybody was like scratching their head. They're like, okay, if this is a kidnapping, typically UNICEF or the Red Cross or somebody is putting out money to go get the Americans back, because the United States doesn't pay ransom. So 4 days go by and people are like, where's the ransom letter? Because this is not really conducive of the cartel. This is not how they really operate. They don't really operate like this. This is more across the Atlantic type behavior. Do you see what I mean? This is more Middle Eastern type organized crime. This is more like different sects in the northern part and southern parts of Africa. This is that. This is more like Latin American gangs, how they operate. This is not Mexico. So when they went missing for all those days, and they're like, well, where's the ransom letter? I know the federal government's like, where's the ransom letter? That's why we knew there was something up. So it makes sense that that a portion of this gang sectored off and decided to do their own thing, got sloppy, and it looks like they were trying to hide it more than anything. That's what it looked like. It looked like they were trying to hide it more than anything, which is crazy to me. And then the people arrested are these young 20-somethings. So obviously these are not people who are good at executing plans. You understand what I mean? Yes, that's correct. The Red Cross. So you can look up a litany of history across the Red Cross, UNICEF, the Catholic Diocese Association across the globe, as well as the Salvation Army. They pay ransom. They do. No one else. There's other non-governmental organizations who do engage in paying for ransom, but typically those are the top 4 that you'll always see coughing up the dough. That's why they tell Americans, don't tell people you're American when you're traveling, because we are not in the business of paying ransom. Now, these other governmental organizations will, but we just don't want you hampering their funds doing so. Just tell people you're from Canada. Nobody cares. So that's why. So when no one came forward with a ransom letter, everyone thought it was strange. I even thought it was strange. I'm like, that's not how they operate. They just shoot first, and they really don't ask questions later. They will literally just drop their kids off at school. Like, they don't care. And your body will sit in the street 4 days. Okay. 4 days, because your body, based off of how this sect works, is a message. That's what it is. Your body is a message. So when they shoot you in the middle of the street and lay you out, that's the message. And there's no need to hide it. They said what they said, and they're going to use your body as an example. Okay. So when we saw those videos of them cleaning up the mess, I'm like, that definitely is not indicative of the cartel. They are not in the business of cleaning up their mess. They're in the business of leaving a fiery crash and walking away. Okay. This one, Jacqueline says, why then broadcast the victims' criminal backgrounds? So most news organizations, and let me pull this off my screen, most news organizations will dig into your background because they just want to get an idea of who you are. And typically you can do that, right? So you could do that when you just look up a simple background check. And if those things pop up, there's something to be discussed. If they had a litany of charges, like, oh, she had parking tickets and she served 3 days in jail for parking tickets, you would start to look at the news organization like, well, what was that even for? What that parking ticket have to do with her getting attacked in Mexico, right? But when they have a litany of charges related to amphetamine, all of them, which is also strange that it's all amphetamines, then you get shot up in Mexico, and then you're labeled as, oh, they thought they were Haitian drug smugglers, and then you're just like, is there a connection? So I don't support broadcasting someone's criminal record because I just think it has no basis in a story unless there's a connection, unless there are similarities between it, right? So if you pulled up a story of a guy who was charged with, essaying the child, right? You wouldn't say, well, why'd you pull up his criminal record? Because he's got 2 other charges of essay. So this is a pattern. Do you understand what I mean? So for some cases, we can see that it occurs because out of just sheer racism. And in other cases, we also see it as, is there a pattern? Does that make sense? Like, I'm trying to explain that to you. Like in this case, I would consider searching the records as problematic, but when you get the records and you can see that there's a history of what's going on, it starts to make you question it too. Like, oh, is there similarities between what they have engaged in just a couple of years ago and what could be occurring, right? So I could see the correlation where people are like, oh, that's racist. But now that we know what their background is, I feel like it gives the story a little bit more body, because the whole surgery thing doesn't make sense. The doctor said you didn't have an appointment, but I don't believe the doctor either, because in the messages above, they were talking about cash. They said that they're not going to operate on you if you don't have cash. And she said, yeah, I do. And then she got lost, and then she asked for directions. But then there were people saying that does not sound like a doctor's office. That sounds like the plug's office. So now you got to start asking. Then the mother comes out and says, oh, my daughter said she was going down there for prescription drugs, because not like to traffic prescription drugs, but like sometimes there are doctors here who won't prescribe specific drugs to you, but if you go to Mexico, they will. So I think that's the way the mother thought, like, oh, she went to go down there to fill a prescription. And then people are like, oh, I thought it was a tummy tuck. So you're getting these conflicting stories. So that's why it's important to be vigilant about, like, come on, don't be pulling people's criminal record. But at the same time, now that we have it, now we got to kind of analyze it. Like, does it have any correlation to this story? Right. This is from Asanu, says the letter mentions Americans. It does. I don't speak Spanish, you guys, unfortunately, but I can go to Twitter and I'm going to see if somebody translated it. Give me 1 second. Okay. Hold on. I want to see if somebody translated it. Let's see. Okay, they have an image here from the Daily Loud, but nobody translated it. Let me share my screen. I guess they apprehended 5 individuals in connection with this. This is according to Daily Loud. Here they are, all 5 of them. And here's the letter, but it doesn't seem as though it was translated. I'm trying to see if I can find someone who translated it. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. No, no one has yet. Okay, hold on. Oh, here, the Associated Press did. Got you. Here it is. A portion of it says, we have decided to turn over those who were directly involved in the responsibility of the events, who at all times acted under their own decision making and lack of discipline. The letter reads and adds that those individuals had gone against the cartel's rules, which includes respecting the life and well-being of the innocent. Now that's crazy because y'all kill tons of innocent people all day. So, what does that mean? Let me go directly to their article and see if they translated it. No, they did not. I don't know why they didn't. Yeah, they didn't. I don't know why no one will translate it. It's like, why is that difficult to do? I mean, there's like a zillion people who speak Spanish who work for the Associated Press. Just translate it. It can't be that hard. Hold on, I'm trying to search for you guys. I was hoping by later on this evening it'd be translated. No, no, there's only that snippet from the Daily Loud translating it. Yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna share my screen. So I mean, there's a lot to be said about it because they're Americans. Yeah, yeah. You can't. I mean, you shouldn't do it to any people, specifically your people. But Americans, I can see why they did this. We saw the arrest as well. So they turned over five of them. They just turned them over. They were just like, we just don't deal with that. But here's my thing: are y'all? You guys are still an organized crime. You are still. I don't care if you turn them over with bows around their neck, okay, and gift cards in their back pockets. You are still organized crime. And the fact that we're normalizing it, we're not going to sit here and normalize because, oh, a violent, vicious group turned over their most violent, vicious members. So we should just we're not patting them on the back. They're terrorizing local cities in Mexico on a daily basis. We're not going to sit here and normalize because they did a good deed. It doesn't uh what is it? Admonish the horrible atrocities. They are a terrorist organization through and through, and the United States needs to label them as such. It's that simple. We're not going to be giving passes to these people. They don't get a pass. No, I don't care if they turned them over and they made your investigation even simpler. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Your operation is not that simple. These monsters bred these monsters because I can tell you right now, these five individuals that the cartel had turned over, you know exactly what they did? They went to these kids' towns and they raped and beat their mothers and they killed their fathers in front of them, and then they brought them onto their group, and then they want them to be upstanding citizens after they had to watch carnage in their own neighborhood. Now you want to start breeding upstanding gangbangers? Be for real. Because I'm not crazy and you guys are not crazy, and we're not going to get gaslit by this letter. We don't even know if those are even the five people from the video. We don't even know that. We don't even know if they just went to another town and terrorized five hardworking men and told them that we're going to murder your families if you don't take the rap for this crime. How do we know that? We don't know that. And I'm hoping that the United States doesn't just say, okay, case closed. No, not case closed. You have two surviving victims. You need to allow those two surviving victims to be able to point those people out in a lineup. And if they don't recognize any of those five people that were arrested, then you need to start from scratch, because I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. They're terrified that the United States is going to label their organization a terrorist organization, which will cause the United States to inflict counterintelligence in those areas. And that's what they don't want. I'm going to keep telling you guys that. I'm going to put my political science hat on, and I'm going to tell you that one more time. The cartel's biggest fear right now is counterintelligence. That's it. Because I don't care how much money or enterprise that the cartel racks in every year, right? These billions of dollars. The United States counterintelligence operations are worth trillions. So they would completely demolish anything and any kind of plans or actions that they had, and they don't want that. They don't want the United States having field agents and CIA agents infiltrating their gangs and collecting data and information and counterintelligence actions. They don't want that, because then it's game over. So what they're going to do is they're going to put out some stupid letter and take 5 people who we don't know are even a part of this. Okay, we have no clue. So I'm not going to put my hat on, oh, well, the cartel did such a good job at turning over 5 people, but how do we know they're not innocent, regular people who just live in the town who got kidnapped into admitting fault? We don't know that. So I'm not buying it at all. I'm not buying it at all. Point blank, period. Right. Right. Yeah, it wasn't them. I don't even believe it was them. I'm gonna just keep it a stack. I don't even think it's them. I don't even think it's these 5 men. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't trust. Come on, man. There's no honor among thieves. Think I'm gonna listen to a thief? Come on now. This is from is it Alchemizing Energy? I hope I'm Alchemizing Energy says, thank you for the super chat. Says, my question is, the wife mentioned a surgery. Did the husband get surgery too? Or was he his wound so bad he needed surgery? Yeah, he had bullets. He was shot twice in one leg and once in the other. So I'm assuming the surgery was to extract the bullets and sew him up, and then check, obviously, if he had any broken bones, and then he would need metal plates on his bones. So yeah, he did. He underwent surgery at the hospital in Brownville, Texas. That is what she meant. And thank you again for the super chat. This is from Lexi Lowe says, oh, this is not for me. Sorry about that. This is from Virtuous Eater. Nope. Not for me. This is from Kira says, one of my Facebook friends asked, does the cartel have HR department? You would think. But if they had a proper HR department, they probably would have typed that letter up and not wrote it in block letters, right? They delusional as heck. This from Melanin says, how did the U.S. get the letter? Did the cartel email it to them? No, it was, so the police that are operating in Mexico are working in tandem with the FBI. The Associated Press, which is literally a global news organization, is in Mexico. So they probably, whispered in somebody's ear and said, can I get a picture of that? And took a picture. So that's how they got it. It's because the local police in Matamoros is working in connection with the U.S. State Department and the FBI. So that's how they got the letter. This is from, oh no, this is not from me. Sorry about that. This is from Ann Brown from Facebook. What's up, Ann? Says they showed up in Cancun last year. Soldiers had to be brought in. Yikes. Because Cancun is a dump now, I heard. It's riddled with cartel. Riddled. That's why most people don't go to Cancun anymore. They find different other spots in Mexico, like California, Baja Sur. It's like the up and cut. It's the new Cancun. This from Double H says, they look like they're kids. I don't believe it was really them. I don't believe it either. This is from Grace Mystique's acquaintance. I hope I'm saying your name right. Says, yep. And they clearly know they done messed up big time. They're like, please don't send America with this crazy. They will, and they should send America's with all America's craziness. They should. Soothings and Sounds, what's up? Says, how can you ever trust the cartel? And you can't. It's like trying to trust your husband who has cheated on you countless times. Like, you gotta be a dummy to trust him. Like, girl, you trust him. This is from Melanin Mama. What's up, Melanin Mama? How you doing today? Did you just graduate? Congratulations. Says, I saw your TikTok and ran over to see if you was live. Every day, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube or Facebook. So I appreciate you sliding all the way over here. This from Pink Dot Average said, the city was named by Alex Matamoros, aka Killing Moors. What? No way. This is from Alchemizing Energy. I hope Alchemizing Energy. I hope I'm saying that right, because I want to call you an alchemist. It says, my friend who was arrested in Mexico told me the police are the cartel. They are. There are, you can just Google thousands of stories of regular people traveling to Mexico for vacation, for work, to visit family, and getting pulled over by the police and getting a shakedown. Getting a little shakedown from the police. Yeah, I totally believe that. This from Kira Mitchell says, no, this is not for me. This from Melanin says, no, I graduated nursing school in 2020. Oh, well, also congratulations. Ooh. height of the pandemic. So you've been working ever since. This is from Danielle Billups, all the way from Facebook. What's up? Says, I watched The World's Most Wanted on Netflix, and it opened my eyes to how bad the cartel are. There, listen, you guys. Now I shouldn't be talking all this mess, but I living on a border town, like I live on the border. But I'm not afraid of these people. They don't scare me. Like, they don't scare me. The only reason why they don't scare me is because, one, I mean, I'm blessed and my house is sanctified, so I'm not going to be sitting here worried about problems that don't exist. But two, they don't have reach as what people think. They don't have the reach like what people think they have. And that's the largest misconception with the cartel, that people think that they have this overarching reach here in the United States, and they don't. And being on a border town, knowing they have no reach here is hilarious. You understand what I mean? So they do offer, or they do terrorize across the border, but their terrorism can only reach so far. Okay? It can only reach so far. It doesn't have reach here. Now, there are probably people here in my city who are probably terrified of them, but not to the extent that you think. People are terrified of them just because of the news, but they're not like beating down doors and shooting people in the middle. Come on now. The U.S. wouldn't even have it like that. The fact that they let it happen in Chicago with young kids is crazy, but they come on. They wouldn't let the cartel do that here. Also, too, I'm in a purple state that's heavily armed and policed. Like, they wouldn't make it 2 inches over the border with that nonsense. You know what I mean? It's because people in these small towns are terrified, and it's really free game. If the cartel is connected with the police department, which is also connected with their local politicians, there's really not much you can do. It's one thing to have a crooked politician, right? Because we got tons of those. It's a whole nother ball game when you got crooked politicians who will allow people to murder you in the streets. That is a different kind of fear that I pray that we never have to deal with. Because it's one thing to be like, oh, you're dealing with the cartel, but all the cartel does is just shake the politicians' money out of their pockets. That's one thing, right? Okay. But the fact that they just allow them to just brutally murder people in the middle of the street is crazy to me. It's like insane. You're not going to be able to shake everyone down if your town has no people. And I don't understand what the politicians and local police and cartel don't understand. You can only police so many people. But if you're going to just murder whole towns, then what are you doing? Their operation literally makes no sense. So what are you going to do when everyone's gone? You just start taking each other out? So who's going to be the plumbers and the people who own businesses and the dry cleaners and the restaurants? Who's going to maintain the roads? You're just going to murder everyone? For what? Doesn't even make any sense. It literally makes no sense. But that's how organized crime works. It's not supposed to make sense. And it doesn't have to. Because only people who run groups of organized crime are sycophants. That's it. And sycophants don't think very long, and they don't think very hard. Because it literally makes zero sense. If you kill off every town, there's no one to run the town. It's one thing to shake everyone down, right? Take their money or whatever. Okay, fine. They can move to another town and be free of you. But you don't kill out whole towns in broad daylight in front of people's kids? And then what? There is no then what for the cartel. They don't think far ahead, because if they actually had people who ran their organization who thought, they wouldn't be a criminal enterprise. They wouldn't. They wouldn't be. Because no bright person would be like, okay, let's just go town to town and just annihilate everyone. Yet we don't have any discernible skills to run these towns. We don't know how the grid system works, so we can't fix anything electrically. We don't know how the plumbing works. We can't fix anything plumbingly. We don't know how to pave roads. We don't know how to slaughter animals to get the food to the market. There's no women because we murdered and raped all of them. So there's no way to populate the town. We have no concept of how commerce works. So when the U.S. ships goods, we don't even know where to get them. Idiots. Just blows my mind. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. Let me get some of your comments. This from Peak.Average says they don't think that far. They don't. They can't. You got a group of stupid people running stupid people. And then they collect more stupid people who make stupid decisions like this. More dumb people. So, like, come on, man. Come on. This from Helen B. What's up, Helen? Says they didn't even think when it came to the tummy tuck. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? No one to pay tax. Nobody pay taxes. That's why it's so crazy. It's so crazy. This from Topher. What's up, Topher? Says telling you this was a robbery and the doctor's office tipped off the gang and the group had high cash on them. I do believe that. I do. And let me tell you why I believe it, because the doctor is just like, ooh, I'm not part of this, you know? But she was talking about cash. So what was that part? What was that part about? Because I can pull up the receipt right now. I distinctly remember that part. Lord, is it in the other phone? Child, it's in my other phone. No, it's not. It's right here. This is from yesterday. And this is what the doctor's office said. Because if you don't have the money, they won't operate. She said, okay. So I'm in Mexico and I'm lost. I saw a report, but I don't know if that's confirmed or not, that said that doctor's office doesn't even perform tummy tucks. So what's really going on? What's really going on, right? This is from Alchemistry. Thank you again for super chat. Alchemising Energy says, I don't know any woman that would travel with 5 men for 15 hours to get a tummy tuck. She traveled with 3 men and 1 woman. So it was 5 of them, 2 women and 3 men. But no, I agree with you on the sentiment. There's every woman that has chimed in on the comment sections here on Facebook and specifically on our TikTok page, all stated the same thing. They said, I had a tummy tuck. I could barely be on a plane for an hour and a half. They said, I couldn't even imagine being in a car for 15 hours. The tummy tuck story, I'm done hearing it. I'm not from you, and I'm not saying this to you, but I'm saying this to everyone. I'm done hearing about this tummy tuck. The tummy tuck doesn't exist. We got to put that behind us. Okay. We're going to have to just we're just going to have to park it somewhere and get it out of our brains, because the tummy tuck story does not exist. It doesn't exist. It's not real. I don't believe it's real. And we're not dummies, and I don't believe any of you were born at night or last night, or I don't believe any of you were born last night. Okay. I just want to be for real. I think all of you are smart enough to discern what the truth is. And let's just be for real with all of each other. The tummy tuck doesn't exist. Okay. We saw images of the doctor's office, and I'll pull those up here for you guys now. We saw images of the doctor's office here. This is an image of the doctor's office. Does this look like an office you would get a tummy tuck at? I mean, just honest. I mean, I'm asking an honest question. Maybe some Botox, maybe some fillers, right? But this looked like an operation where doctors are, come on. I mean, he might have a really nice operation, you know, in the wee back area of this, this whatever this is, this house office. But come on. I mean, we have to be intellectually honest with ourselves. Does that look like a place where somebody's getting the time? It doesn't. I don't care what the Google reviews say. I don't care what the Google reviews say. Okay. I just want to just have some level of basis here. And because I think you guys are smart enough. I think you're smart as hell. I don't think that there was a tummy tuck going on, going on. Okay. I think something else. Whether she was, I think what I could believe is that she was going to get a consultation. That's what I could believe. But the doctor throws the consultation argument out the window when the receptionist is messaging her talking about money, right? So hold on, I sit on my leg. I sit on my foot. I don't know why I do that. But I could believe that. Do I believe she was going to get a tummy tuck right then and there? I'm not crazy, and neither are you guys. Okay. This from Pink Adver says, I wouldn't take a pig there. This is from Asanu says, in Quest Neek at Night. I think you meant Neek at Night. Neek at Night said her friend went to the same doctor and got a tummy tuck. Susan then Sound says, you're right, Steph. Neek at Night said they got a tummy. Neek, where you at, girl? Your friend got a tummy tuck there? Let us know. Is it clean? I want to know. And got a tummy tuck, or she just went to the doctor? What's up, Tish Jones says, being that the messages stated they won't do surgery leads me to believe that it was in the doctor's office. She should have said, we can't do the surgery. What did she say? Let me go back to it. Because if you don't, she said they won't operate. She said, because if you don't have the money, they won't operate. I want to see those messages before. That's what I want to see. A Dane Girl says, don't give me life on a trap house. Ciao. This is from Sarda King. Thank you for the book. I think you meant to put a message there. What's the message? Now I'll make sure I read it. This from Kimberly Nance. Kimberly Nance says, there are several people that said that they've been there and that he doesn't do surgery on Fridays. So what was going on Friday? He doing business on Friday. It's definitely not no surgery. It's definitely not no surgery. This from KCB says, Cheryl Orange said on CNN that she was at the motel with the 3 men's luggage. She said that they told her that they would be back in 15 minutes and she took a nap. When she woke up at 5, they weren't back. How can you be back in 15 minutes if your friend was getting a tummy tuck? That's a 6-hour operation. This from Asa says, yeah, Neek wanted the girl to come back on the show. She got plastic surgery and said that she's going back. Neek was appalled. Wouldn't you be? Wouldn't you be appalled? This from Sergeant King says, read the text again. They won't operate. He won't operate. No, I believe you. No, I believe that I believe you. If you say you heard around town that doctor does not operate on Fridays, I believe you. But he still does business. What that business is, I don't know. Now, could she have been going to pay a deposit? That's possible. But it wouldn't make much sense to pay your deposit when it's a doctor. He could take anything. He could take Care Credit, he could take Visa, MasterCard, Discover. Why do you got to go in person to pay a deposit? Or maybe was it a deposit and was it a consultation? Because that makes sense. A consultation and paying your deposit half up front. Now that makes sense. If that's what she was saying, I could believe that. But I don't believe she was getting a tummy tuck. And according to you guys in the reports, he doesn't do operations on Friday, but she was definitely going to his office. So she was paying something on Friday, whether that be a consultation and half of the deposit now, right? But again, it wouldn't make sense because why would you drive? Why don't you just fly? Why don't you just fly? This from S. Renee. What's up, S. Renee says, in my profession, too many questions without reasonable answers is sketchy as AKA sus. This is from Pamela Gomillion. Is it I'm saying that right? Or is it Gomillion? Gomillion says because it was a short drive to the doctor's office in the motel. Yeah, but why would you come back in 15 minutes? Right? Was he dropping them off at the doctor's office and they got lost? And he said, hey, before leaving, said, oh, it's only a 15-minute ride. Because it is. It's about a 20-minute drive. So he said he'll be back in 15 minutes. Because they were going to stay for the consultation. And he was like, I'm just going to cross the border and come back and wait with Cheryl Orange at the hotel. Or were they all coming back in 15 minutes? That's the question I would have liked to add. I would have liked them to ask. This is from Patrick O'Neill. What's up, Patrick? Says they do consultation and follow-ups on Friday. See, now that makes sense. This from Ortiz says, if I saw that, I would turn around and go home. If I was lost, I was going to turn around and go home. That's just on GP. I'm just going to turn around and go home. You know? Like, okay, well, I couldn't find it. So let me just be near the border at least. And we can circle back in a couple minutes, you know, because I don't like being lost. But here's the thing. They got lost at 9:22. That the ambush happened at 11:45. So what were they doing for 2.5 hours? 2 hours and 15 minutes. What were they doing? Anybody got a clue? What were they doing? You weren't lost for 2.5 hours in that tiny town. It's right on the border. You can't get lost. You can get lost, but you can't get lost for 2 hours. You should just got out of the car and walked. They could have walked there and got there faster than driving. So there's a gap. There's a lapse in time. There's from 9:22 to 11:45. What were they doing? I can understand being lost for 15 minutes max, but how were you lost for that long? Yeah, they got lost. They got lost. This is from Nikita K. Says, now, Stephanie, don't laugh. But you know, in gangster movies, they shoot you in the leg to torture you when they're trying to get information. That's true. But we don't know if Eric was driving. And if he was driving, he could have feasibly gotten shot in the legs. He didn't get shot in the legs after the ambush. He got shot in the legs during the ambush. So I don't think he was being tortured at the site. He could have been tortured, when they had transported them into different houses. But I don't think he was. But you're right. But I don't think he was tortured at the site of the ambush. This from Desiree Garcia. What's up, Desiree? Says all of these dudes went with her to get a consultation. How do you want to meet us at Streams? What does that mean? How do you want to meet us at Streams? Can you explain what that means? This from Patrick O'Neill says they have to return to have stitches removed, check the wounds, and do repairs. Yeah. This from El Luminegro says they tried to run off on the plug, got caught, 2 died, 2 survived. Do you think they tried to run off on him? I mean, that's possible. That's possible. That's possible, you know? There's just a lot for this case. There's a lot. There's just a lot going on this case. This one, Trash Princeton says, this is so strange. It seems like Latavia was taking those guys as muscle for some reason. What if she's the kingpin, allegedly, if this is about drugs? What if she's the kingpin? What does the doctor have to do with this? Right? What if it was a consultation and her paying her deposit up front, half of it up front, and the doctor set up the ambush, you know? We don't know. This from Soothing Zen Sound says, I wonder what the other lady passenger said in the interview. We're gonna get to that tomorrow because we'll have the clips. But again, I can't play them here, but I'll have the clips to play tomorrow for you guys. And we can go over it then. I'm sure a lot of you are probably after this stream, you're gonna watch it. This is from Pam Gomillion says, in my opinion, Tummy Tuck went for the tuck, but the men had other plans. So you do think she went for the tummy tuck, but the guys had other plans? Now that's possible. At this point, you guys, anything's possible. I need them to start talking. Okay. Somebody call Oprah. Get Oprah on the line because I need them to sit down for an interview. Somebody get Gayle King. Somebody get Tamron Hall. They need to sit down and do an interview right now because I don't got time to be waiting. Okay. I don't got time to be waiting. Y'all need to do an interview right now because we need to know the truth, because I'm going to be able to discern what they say, if it's a truth or a lie. It's going to be that simple. But they need to come sit down with go pick your favorite journalist. Okay. You survived an ordeal. Go pick your favorite journalist and, you know what I mean? Because we need to know what's going on. Okay. We need to know what's going on because there's something quite suspicious about all of this. This is from Moo says, no, they did not try to run off because they would still wait to cross back over. Yeah. This one, Tracy Girl says, is being reported the two men were running and were shot. If that's true, did they split up? Because in order to run, you had to either be in the car or not in the car. This from Pastor Dawn, the new thing God is doing. Okay, what's up, Pastor Dawn? Says, hey, lady, my sister said that the cartel said that they didn't do it and put some people in the car trunk and left a note saying that they were the people. I'm not in agreement. Wondering if you heard that. I did hear that. We discussed that earlier in the live stream. I don't believe it either. I'm not crazy, but I'm not stupid enough to take the word of the cartel. You understand what I mean? Where did you hear that from, Jasmine? I don't believe anybody was. You got to tell us where you heard that source from. This from Asanu says, I don't think they were, I don't think they're going to talk because Eric already said to be quiet. Heck, he never told his wife where he was going in the first place. They're going to have to talk to the feds in order for the feds to be able to build a case on these 5 quote unquote people. They're going to have to talk to the feds. So they may not talk to us, but they're going to talk to the feds. Right. And the feds are going to bring on a case against these people. So they're going to have to talk to someone, and we're going to hear something, because thank God news organizations are the nosiest people we know, especially Associated Press. They're going to be extra nosy because I'm like, okay, what they say. Right. You said they're not going to do an interview. I think they will. I think Latavia will. She's going to do it for a price. She's not going to sit down for free. I promise you that. She's not going to sit down for free. She's definitely going to do it for a little bit of bread. For sure. For sure. She's not going to sit down and kiki with nobody for free. Now, I don't believe that. I do believe she'll do it for a price. And most interviewers pay you for your interviews. It's very rare to get to do an interview for free. So I don't think she's going to do it for free. I think she's going to do it for a price. This from Chas Princeton says, this is so strange. Seems like Latavia was taking those guys as muscle for the reason. I think I read that one already. This from Robin Usher says, it's easy to get lost in those cities. People don't speak English. Not always. Those are border towns. And most border towns, most of the people who live in those towns work and commute in the United States. So it's almost rare to not find one English speaking person. And I live in a border town and everyone speaks Spanish and English except me. I speak a little Spanish. But most of the people here speak English and Spanish because people cross the border every day to work. So I think for the most part, right? The doctor, his receptionist speaks English, and she can she can type in English too, right? She can spell and read and write in English. So I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. This is from Patrick O'Neill says tummy tucks are a long procedure. Healing takes time. You wear a compression band and drainage. Yeah, it's a lot of work doing it. This from Sherry says there has to be the full footage somewhere. Yeah, there's CCTV all over Mexico. Now, will it start to get released over the weeks? Yeah, probably. We just don't have it now, but I'm sure there's CCTV. But again, there's definitely more to the story. This from oh, I think I read that one already. Sorry about that. This is from Cece says they're so unserious with that surgery story. Crazy tell self. Think we're slow because we're not. Yeah, they were quick with that story, but I wasn't buying it. This from Dame Girls says Eric going to Mexico without telling his wife like he went to the corner stores. That's wild. That's probably the strangest part of the story. That and that 2 hours where we can't quite figure out what was going on, right? Like that 2 hours from when they got lost to the ambush. That and the husband not telling his wife that I'm just going with my homeboys, and then he's in Mexico, and on a rare occasion gets shot. It's just wild. This is from Polished by Penny. Says, do you think the doctor appointment consultation was just a distraction in case something went left, would have a legit reason for being there? Yeah, it's a legitimate reason if nothing went left, if everything was just like they got what they got. If it is the case that it's about drugs, because I don't know even know if it's about drugs. But if that was the case that they went to get something, let's just say something. I don't want to say drugs, but it could have been anything, right? It could have been contraband that the United States doesn't allow, like commerce and stuff. So even if it was legit, then they'd have a reason like, oh, where'd you go to Mexico for a tummy tuck? But here's the thing, like if she came back without a tummy tuck, then people would have questions. But I think that's just what you tell people, like who just in your business, but you really know what you're going down there for. But I mean, that's just a big lie. I can see if she said she went down there for a consultation, but like to go down there for and say it's a tummy tuck, that's the part that I find the craziest because I'm like, well, what were you gonna do when people asked you, like, what were you gonna do when people asked you how your healing was and you had no scarring? What were you gonna say then? It seems like it doesn't make sense to use that story. Same consultation would have been another thing. This is from Ezra Renee says, so why did they go there not speaking English? Dumbest thing ever. I still question why they didn't stop and ask for directions. If really tons of people who don't speak English go to Mexico all the time. Tons of people they do all the time. You don't have to speak English to go to Mexico. Because the mass majority of people who live on border towns here on my side and on the other side of the border speak English and Spanish. So it's not uncommon, you know? It's like it's so common for everyone to speak bilingual. It's so common on the border. So it's not, you don't need someone with you to speak Spanish. It's not even necessary at that point. Because now if you're in the thick of it, if you're in like the Yucatan Peninsula, if you like the southern border of Mexico, I mean the tail end tip, you don't speak no Spanish, you're going to be in a world of trouble because tourists don't usually make their way all the way that far south. So there's not a whole lot of tourist attractions. Most of the tourist attractions are on the border. So if you don't speak Spanish on the border, that's okay. There's mostly the people who live there speak English too. But when you go further and further into deeper parts of Mexico, smaller regions, more secular regions, and you don't speak Spanish, you're really setting yourself up for failure because that's just silly. It's not like going to Paris and like, oh, you went to Paris and you don't speak French. For what? It's a tourist attraction. Like half of France is English speaking. So's Hong Kong, you know? So's a ton of parts of South Korea and China, tons of nations in Africa. So it's not necessary for where they were going. You understand what I mean? Like it's not that necessary. This from Desiree says there's no way she went with 3 dudes to get a tummy tuck, and one of them and his wife had no idea what was going on. Something's definitely amiss. I don't know what. I don't want to say it's drugs. I don't think it's drugs. It's not that I don't think it's drugs. I'm not harping on that part, but I know something was up. I don't believe the 5 men who were arrested were the actual ones who did it. I don't understand why he wouldn't tell his wife that he was going to Mexico. I don't understand why the doctor lied and says she wasn't supposed to be there today. I don't understand what the 2-hour gap was from when they got lost in the ambush. That makes no sense to me. It's all just like fugazi. It's all fugazi. It is. It's very fugazi. It makes absolutely zero sense. This from Reese says, where were you doing something you didn't have no business doing? You don't ask strangers questions. True. This is from Moo says, if they had a janky phone plan, their phones would not even work correctly over there and stuck out like a sore thumb. No, because they were in Mexico messaging the doctor's office. They definitely had a signal, because how would you even be able to get a message to the doctor's office? She said, I'm in Mexico and I'm lost. She wouldn't have said that from the other side of the border. That makes no sense. How can you be lost if you haven't even come here yet? So they definitely had a signal. They did. So the whole signal story was like, that's what people were saying. Like, oh, what if their signal went out? How? How is she able to message the physician, you know? This is from Helen B. Helen says, did you see the local article about the mom and the kids having drugs in their system? I think she went over for drugs. The mom, okay, the story comes from 2016. If you guys didn't check us out yesterday. So yesterday, we read an article from the Daily Mail, and they had reported that Latavia, the woman who was caught in the ambush, she had a 2016 charge for child neglect and some other things in relations to a child, where the child's hair was tested and tested positive for amphetamines, as well as other substances. So I don't know if she got the daughter back or not. I'm not entirely sure, but those were the charges. I don't think she went to go get drugs for her kids, right? But how did your daughter come in contact with amphetamines of all things? So I don't really know where that story goes. A lot of people are like, that's racist. You shouldn't have pulled it up. But luckily someone did, because how'd your child get amphetamines in their system? And I'm not sitting here trying to judge her as a mother, but you have to be around a good amount of amphetamines to get in your system without ingesting it, right? So that's also a great question. This is from Letitia Thatch. Let me correct myself. Hello from Facebook says, if she was really going to get surgery, she would have taken the plane. And why would the girl at the hotel leave her ID? I don't know if I believe that story either. There's no way you drove all the way down, because you're nothing but a liability, right? If you're an able-bodied adult who knows how to drive a vehicle and you forget your driver's license, at that point, you're just a waste of space to me, because what are you doing here? You can't even help us drive. You could get pulled over. So you're going to cause us more problems than anything. So she was just a liability. Now, I don't know when she realized she lost her ID, but maybe she realized it before they were supposed to cross the border. Like, hey, I can't find my ID anywhere. Maybe I left it at home, or maybe I left it at the last truck stop or the last rest stop or whatnot, or what have you, which is understandable. So depending on when she realized it was lost, she definitely became a liability. You're a liability. What are you even doing here? But I think she probably realized it before they were getting ready to cross the border that she didn't have it on her. Because, you're not staring at your IDs all day, every day. But on a trip, I'm definitely going to look to make sure I got it, which makes me think that her losing her ID, I feels like they were leaving in a rush, you know? Like there was a rush. It didn't sound like a well thought out vacation, you know? My friend goes to surgery, I go lay out on the beach and have a bunch of cocktails and hang out in the sun. It doesn't seem like that, right? It doesn't, to me, it doesn't seem like that. It seems haphazard. The whole thing seems haphazard. You understand what I mean? That's the part I didn't get. Like, how'd you forget your ID? Like, how'd you do that? You know? Yeah. This is from Love, Light, and Other Shit. Great name. Says because it is about drugs. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. I should know. I dated a rocket scientist. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't. But I don't like to speculate. Like I know a lot of you are new here, so I just want to give you a little bit of my background. So I have a degree in political science and it is a heavy focus on analytics and research, but specifically analytics. So when I analyze stuff, I never just throw out accusations if I can't prove them or if there's not enough supplemental information to lead me to that conclusion, right? There's not a whole lot supporting it. Now, there's not a whole lot supporting the cause of her being this all being about drugs. Mexico cartel, yeah, but there's so many different regions of the cartel that dabble in so many different things that there's cartels that only deal with lemons and limes, you guys. I know this because I read the local news here. So there are cartels who only deal with lemons and limes. They don't even touch drugs. They're like, all we do is just shake down the lemon and lime companies that come here and that leave here for millions of dollars. So there are different groups of cartels that deal in different things. Not all of the cartel deals in drugs. It's kind of like the mafia. There's some individuals in the 70s and 80s who dealt within the mafia, the Irish, Russian, and Italian mafia that only dealt with like food and commerce, trade, stuff that came across seas. There's other ones that dealt with drugs. There's other ones that dealt with other things. So not everyone deals in drugs. So I don't want to say it's just drugs because knowing the basis of that there's different sects of the cartel, I can't say it's drugs, right? Because we don't know. And I don't have enough data to understand that. But something is up. Something's definitely up. Okay, so but I do believe that. Okay, this is from Soothing Sound says the Daily Mail has good articles on Cheryl Orange's police report. Yeah, we read those yesterday. Soothing Sounds were here yesterday. Just Bougie says, don't they search cars across the border? What do you mean search cars? This from Virtuous Eatery says, Chief, is drugs. You don't want to say it, but most of the missing teeth. The mama says she went for prescription. Yep, drugs. Yeah. But again, I can't attest to that. This from Who says I have 2 degrees, one in journalism and one in strategic communications and a PhD and leadership management. Yeah, so you know everything about suppositions. You've written a dissertation and you've probably written tons and tons and tons of arguments on lots of stuff. So I just do my best, right? You understand? I just do my best to not lay my suppositions just anywhere because it sounds cute and flashy. So you got to understand for that. This is from Alexia Love said the other girl who stayed back might have been nervous if she never did it before, the tummy tuck. But because everyone else probably had, they went without her. Yeah. That makes sense. She probably did have her ID and she probably just scared, like, oh, I forgot my ID. I can't go. If she lied, good for her. If she didn't lie, also good for her. Understand? Good for her all across the board. Good for her. Because child, you saved your life by either lying or being really, really, really forgetful. This from Loving Light and Other Shit says, I watch you all the time and you are very intelligent and logical. So I get why you say that. No offense. No, none taken. But yeah, I just try not to lay my beliefs on stuff I can't prove. If I can prove it, then yeah, great. If I can't prove it, absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is from TBC. Number 3 says, imagine going to Mexico for drugs when you can go to your mama's house for snacks and hugs. Ciao. She is. Whether she did on accident or on purpose, she the brightest one out of the bunch. She is. Well, tomorrow we're going to be reviewing the interview from CNN. Cheryl Orange, who was the 5th woman who lost her ID, is and did an sit-down interview with Don Lemon on CNN. So tomorrow we're going to review those clips because I think they're going to be interesting and tantalizing to figure out what it is she had to say. Because again, the story makes 0 sense. Now, is it drugs? I don't know. You guys are probably right. But we'll be back tomorrow here at the Nosy Bystanders Live on Facebook and YouTube at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, I'm your host, Chief Nosy Bystander. Drop all your comments. Let us know what you think. Before you leave, smash the like button. Don't be ignorant. Don't be a cousin on your daddy's side. Don't be ignorant. Smash the like button on your way out. Pretend it's like liquor. Y'all bring liquor to the function. And when the function over, you take it with you. Now, be for real. You know that's what you do. Okay? Be for real. You bring the liquor to the function, and if no one touched it, or even if they took a sip, you're taking it with you when you go. Treat the like button just like that, okay? We'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, here at the Nosy Bystanders Live. I am your host, Chief Nosy Bystander. You guys have a good night, okay? Bye-bye.